Western Home Communities is proud to help sponsor this year's 8 over 80. With our older adults in Northeast Iowa and all their contributions and accomplishments, we are pleased to be a part of this program. Let's enjoy their stories.
I love to travel and I love museums, and I go to them whenever I can. And I'm very, very proud that Waterloo has the Grout Museum. It's really a marvel for a community our size to have such an asset. And I have worked for the Grout Museum District as a volunteer since I retired. And then from there, I moved into being on the board of the Grout and now a trustee for the Grout. And I just am so proud of it and so glad to be a part of it. I was born and raised in Waterloo. And my dad, and my mother too, but especially my dad, felt like he and my mother had a really good life in Waterloo. And he was always concerned about giving back. When he retired, he did a lot of volunteerism, and he was always like, you have to give back for what you've gotten. So when I retired, I thought, okay, because the job I had was very demanding. I was a high school administrator, and that's long hours. And so I thought, okay, now's my opportunity to volunteer and give back. And I was kind of given some good advice by people who retired ahead of me. Think it over and pick what you really feel passionate about or care about, and then it will be a gift to you rather than a demand. And I loved museums, so it was easy. I was astonished to be nominated, and it's been a wonderful gift. I've been really fortunate in that my family, I have only a small family, but my entire family has stayed in Waterloo. So it's important to me to keep the Waterloo-Cedar Falls metropolitan area strong. I have my son and his wife, and then my grandson and his wife and his 2 children, and my granddaughter and her 3 girls, all in this area. And they've stayed because they love Waterloo too.
I was always interested in reading and learning, and through elementary school, country school that we attended, that just became a real passion. And then as I got to high school, my high school instructor in English and language and my basketball coach, social studies, that both those subjects fascinated me a great deal. And those 2 individuals really encouraged me, saw something in me that encouraged me to go into teaching. Feeling that I had an impact on how they were going to live their lives. And then as I got older and retired, getting feedback that said how that sometimes we don't know how much some encouragement and support, believing in people, accepting them where they are and who they are, and then feeling that one piece of the puzzle that helped impact and hopefully form their adult lives, positive lives. It's been particularly interesting to me in this time of the Black Lives Matter movement to have white adults that I taught as adolescents say something like, you really made a difference in forming my attitudes. I would probably not have thought like I do if I hadn't had a personal experience with an African American teacher. I'm very appreciative and thankful that someone else is saying that they recognize that I made an impact. It never feels too late to be appreciated. And when the woman approached me to say, I never have said this to you, and I said, it's not too late, thank you.
Cedar Valley, it has been a fantastic place to live and work. Bringing up my family, Bob, Dave, and Debbie. It has been a great place for them to live, go to college, do their work. For me, it has really been able to broaden my horizons into looking into people's lives and seeing that we are all alike, we all have the same needs, and if we can just continue to help one another the way that has been done in the Cedar Valley, I think that is fantastic. The people of the Cedar Valley have just been tremendous, and I think, really enjoyed being a part of the community and being active in the community. I don't think I would have lived so long and had such an interesting life if it hadn't have been for all of the people here and this community of support. Oh, I want to thank all the people that nominated me and feel that my work has really made a little difference in this Cedar Valley. I hope it has. These decades have really gone fast. I'm sure there's much more that I could be doing, and I will continue to try.
I enjoy doing things for people, and that's been probably one of my accents through life. I've tried to use the old adage, and it's an old song, accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. And that's been my mantra for life. And I work at it. I'm not perfect at it, but that's been a joy. And I think that's what people remember me for. So I've had a passion for education for some time. I started my career in Fairmont, Minnesota. I was a speech therapist for several years and decided I wanted to be in the classroom. So got another degree and ended up teaching fifth grade kids in Fairmont. Came down here as a principal and a first year principal, and that was quite an experience. I learned a lot. After retiring, I did quite a bit of volunteering and actually went back as a substitute principal in some of my old schools. And then now a lot of volunteering, and volunteered in Mrs. Kramer's class. Actually, this would be our 29th year. Yeah, well, since retiring, I started doing some painting. I didn't know I was a painter, and I call myself a color artist because I just enjoy color. I do a lot of painting for on chairs, for benefits, and I just like to do chairs for people that I think have done a lot for the community. Through the years, as an elementary principal, I've given thousands of, I call them pet pebbles or pet rocks away. And it's been a joy. Every now and then I run into a person, one of my former students, says, "I still have my pet pebble that you gave me." I enjoy baking bread. In fact, I've been a bit of a collector of bakers. I have like 10. And once in a while I get them all going, and it's been fun to make them here and then give them to friends and neighbors. I think people just remember me and think of me as a person who will say a good word to them. I try to let people know my appreciation for them. It was wonderful to know that the people responded, and as I say, I'm humbled and honored to have been chosen. So it's indeed an honor.
Junior League of Waterloo and Cedar Falls was an awesome training ground for volunteerism and understanding all aspects of community. So I would say that was really the training ground, the commitment for service. Being a teacher and a director in theater prior to that, you experience what people give, and give in education and give volunteering. But probably the impetus and motivation, we were involved politically too, to affect change. Politically, local politics, state and nationally. So I guess it has just always been a part of my life. I have really served and worked with amazing people. The people who nominated me, I've been able to thank them. But each of them, if they were old enough, would be recipients of this. And I am just keenly aware that those who dedicated and committed themselves in the area's ministry, a true privilege. Certainly Cedar Valley Hospice, all the arts, all the areas, they are deserving of what I have been fortunate to receive. The people, as I've contacted them to appreciate them, they were awesome to be so thoughtful, to take the time and the effort in order to acknowledge me. And then there are all the people who have responded, even walking in a grocery store, or it's astounding, and it's deeply appreciated. I think gratitude is, I've been very blessed in my life, I've been very fortunate, and so this just fills me with gratitude. And family is at the center of who I am, so.
Well, I never really thought that I had done anything so wonderful. And after this happened, it's made me more aware of wanting to help people and being kind to people. And I hope that I'm remembered for being kind and being helpful and understanding and all kinds of people. And, no matter what their disabilities or their color or anything, I just want it to be known that I love everybody and I want to be there to help anybody that needs help. I've just had the capability and the ability and the opportunities to do that, and I enjoy it. The trips that we made to New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina were most rewarding. We went 4 or 5 years in a row for up to as much as 5 weeks at a time, and worked with people that had lost everything, and their courage and motivation motivated me. And I found out there that it wasn't about hammers and screwdrivers and paint and varnish and stuff like that. It was more about the love, the time to talk, the coffee and the cookies that we would have on a deck. I mean, just somebody to share what they'd gone through, just somebody to listen. And I really felt rewarded then. That's why we kept going back year after year. Well, I would like to say something to the people that nominated me. They were pretty much bikers too, and not only did when they called me and said that I had been nominated, I'm like, you got to be kidding, not me. And then they told me that who had done it and what they had said, and I feel like through all these years of teaching, they have made my life better, and now they have given me inspiration to move forward and be better and be stronger and be more helpful than I ever was before. I think about it and I'm like, you're an 8 over 80, help those people. So it changed my life.
I guess my most inspirational thing was I always wanted to see young people do well. And I felt that I had something that I could give, some experiences that I could share with them. But I would think most of all was for the love of young folks. I have 2 daughters. I wanted them to grow up to be good citizens. But I didn't want to be selfish and not share that with other people if I had that to give. And I especially wanted, I wanted all young people, but young people who look like me or maybe were underserved, to see someone that looked like them, that in spite of whatever your situation is, you can overcome and you can be a good citizen and a successful person. Once I received the honor and it was in the paper, I heard from people that I had not heard from in years. And it was so nice to hear from them, to say, oh, they remember me. They remember the things that we shared. So that was one of the good things. And also, I think it's important that we tell our story. I think it's important that others see that there is you can leave a legacy. You don't have to have lots and lots of money to leave a legacy. You can do it by kindness and love. God. God is very important in our family. I would like to say thank you to them, and I'm very grateful that they remembered me. So I just appreciate hearing from them and their congratulations and realizing that it was all in humility that I did this, not for not for any other reason. So it was just so thank you very much. Yes, and it was nice hearing from them.
We like to see our community thrive, and we've supported fundraising projects including sports complex, school, library, and another new high school project which is coming up. And this has led to increased or more people moving to Denver. It helps our schools to thrive. We have an excellent school, and we like to support that.
We also have done other things outside of the Denver area, and we just like to do that. It feels good to do it, and it's the right thing for us to do. You know, the story that we had going to Guatemala was great. I got a card here. I think we got a card from a young lady that went. She's now going into college, and she remembers that as one of her highlights in her life. And it makes me feel good to see people that can see how good we've got it and how poorly some of these other countries have it. And we're very ungrateful people.
And another part of this is that we like to see these things happen in our lifetime, and so while we have the energy and the means to support them, we're happy to do that. And as the company grew, we have people now who are moving back to Denver for jobs here, and that's great to see. We have some really talented employees who've helped take the company to another level that is kind of leaving us behind with the technology, and but it's great to see what they're doing and the great leadership we have in place.